Zenos E10 Review. The genesis story of Zenos feels like an old one by now, but it's a good one, so let's recap. In 2000, Ansar Ali and Mark Edwards met as senior employees at Lotus. 5 years on, having helped to engineer a buyout of Caterham cars, they became that company's CEO and COO respectively. It's hard to imagine a more thorough grounding in the dark art of lightweight, affordable British sports cars. By 2012, with Caterham under the control of Tony Fernandes, both made their exit. The following year, Zenos was born. Its claimed objective? The production and sale of lightweight, affordable sports cars for the right-minded enthusiast. So how is it different? Well, the brains behind the firm, and that includes a team plucked from Caterham, Lotus, Cosworth and elsewhere, insist that the eventual owner of the end product has at last been placed front and center of the development process. Access and involvement in the brand is considered crucial, to the point where customer testing of prototypes has been adopted as part of the business model. Zenos also insists that affordability, the concept often besmirched by the eventual on-the-road price of a Lotus Elise or Caterham Seven, is a starting point rather than a marketing concept. The starter version of the E10 can be had, in admittedly Spartan form, for £24,995, more than £5,000 less than an entry-level Elise. Its pokier, more powerful brother, the turbocharged E10 S tested, is cheaper still than its supercharged Norfolk rival. Then there's the car under the sticker price. Born of its maker's experience at past employers but not beholden to it, the E10 is closest in resemblance to the Elise. It is mid-engined, owes its strength to aluminium, its lightness to composites and its dynamism to double wishbones. Yet the differences, as we're about to find out, are pronounced. The Zenos is very much its own thing already. Is it as enlightened as its name suggests? Most car designs start with a sketch or a packaging idea. Zenos, however, started with a number, or rather a price, £24,995. Everything else hinged around Zenos' ability to offer the E10 for that amount of money. When it came to the mechanical makeup of the E10, that price, as much as any engineering ideal, is responsible for the way it is set up. Zenos sources the 2.0-liter Ford EcoBoost engine and manual transmission from powertrain supplier Hendy Power and retains the drive shafts, hubs and bearings. That, in turn, dictates that the engine sits behind the occupants and sets the width of the car. Ahead of the engine bay sits a monocoque with a single central extrusion at its core, around which is bonded a composite tub that features a thermosetting plastic core and recycled carbon fiber skins. You have to clamber over the ladder in order to get in, because there are no doors. Zenos claims that the skin material itself retains 75% of the rigidity of a pure carbon fiber tub and possesses a torsional rigidity of 12,000 Nm per degree. And because the carbon fiber itself is made from offcuts, it only costs a tenth of the price of virgin carbon fiber. In order to lower repair costs, the E10's tub is made from 5 individual parts, so you don't necessarily have to replace it all in the event of an accident, as this is a track-focused car, meaning the chances of off-asphalt excursions are relatively high. To ease the repair of smaller nerfs, the body consists of 18 different replaceable panels, here topped by an optional windscreen, which can be swapped back for the standard aero screen in about 45 minutes. You can also specify a get-you-home hood and a tonneau cover. The E10's front and rear suspension are double wishbones and the brakes and suspension are both unassisted. It's a setup that's meant to make the Zenos weigh only 725 kilograms dry, but our test car was a pre-production example wearing some non-standard materials, which upped that figure a bit. However, given that it was also laden with fuel and sported the larger turbocharger that lifts the E10's power to 250 bhp to make this variant, a curb weight of 900 kilograms is reasonable. There was a time when it was unusual to find a turbocharged sports car as light as the Zenos E10 S. With only minimal mass to move, matching horsepower with equally generous torque hardly seems necessary. And yet if you're a startup sports car maker looking to give your debut model as much bang for the buck as you can find from a customer engine in 2015, you'd be inclined to opt for something with forced induction. Of course you would. The car industry as a whole has, after all, collectively backed turbocharging these past couple of decades. And besides the abundant, mind-focusing pace that it provides, Ford's 2.0-liter EcoBoost engine also gives the E10S an unexpected kind of character that's unusual among its immediate rivals, and it's not unlikable, either. First and foremost, the E10S is quick, which must have been exactly what Zenos was aiming for. The car's sticky Avon tires have no trouble at all transmitting the engine's torque onto dry asphalt, making it easy to get the car to 60 miles per hour in less than 4.5 seconds and onto 100 miles per hour in little more than 11 seconds, considerably quicker than anything made by Caterham, Ariel or Westfield for the same money. That kind of advantage could be key, whether you want track day lap time superiority or just breakfast club bragging rights. What about the quality of delivery? The whistling, whooshing and hissing of the E10S's induction system is certainly loud enough that you'll never forget about the presence of a turbo here. That said, throttle response is also crisp enough to avoid becoming an obstacle to enjoyment of the car. Turbo lag is barely noticeable even at low revs, and the engine spins quite freely to the 7,000 revolutions per minute redline. What it will also do, while plenty of rivals refuse, is haul through a high gear from low revs with true urgency. Trickle onto Myra's mile straight in 5th gear at around 20 miles per hour and flatten the accelerator and the car wastes no time at all in picking up speed. By the end of the measured mile, you'll be at 130 miles per hour, hardly any slower, believe it or not, than you'd be traveling if you'd done a full bore standing start instead.